Hi everyone, Alex Lambros from Loan Market Unlimited here. I have today Adrian Bo, one of the best in the business, and I wanted him to give us an update on the market for 2022 and also what's happening in 2023. So thanks for coming on board.
Appreciate you having me, Alex.
Mate, we've worked with each other for a little while now
Yes,
and love seeing how you operate.
thank you. Same with you. You do some great business.
Thank you. Um, Tell us, how did 2022 shape up for you? What do you think the Eastern Suburbs market's been doing?
Look, I mean, the Eastern Suburbs market has always been a very resilient market. I've been fortunate enough to work in it for 35 odd years. So I've certainly seen a lot more dramatic markets than we saw this year. There's no surprise, and obviously it was very well publicised, and especially in your industry, as you would know, with 8 adjustments, in interest
Yeah,
rates or cash rate, if you like, for the first time in 11 odd years. That's a big adjustment in people's borrowing capacity. As you know,
mm,
Alex, each one of those adjustments, people's borrowing capacity was altering. So
mm,
that can be really challenging and frustrating for buyers, especially if they feel they've got the bandwidth and desire to actually purchase a home, but then they're actually, objectively restricted there. So that's
yeah,
that's very frustrating and challenging for buyers. Sellers also had to make an adjustment, but in saying that, if you were to put things into perspective, we had over the COVID pandemic growth well publicised of about 30%. Now, that has probably been eroded by 10, 12%, since then. So if you look at traditional annualized growth and COVID didn't happen, we'd probably still be in the same position,
mhm,
actually, in
yep,
terms of growth, right?
yep,
So when you put things in a perspective like that, and when you're talking to a client saying, look, your property, sure, there was a period, in 2021 when it might have been worth, 1.8, but now it's 1.7. The reality is 3 years ago, these houses were selling for about 1.3, 1.4,
mm,
So it's an education process, and it's not even a conditioning process. It's just managing expectations.
yep,
It's over servicing, over qualifying sellers and buyers, because for every buyer talking the market down, saying, "Oh, look, interest rates are going up, I'll wait," there's one or two buyers saying, "I've missed out on two properties. I've
yep,
been looking for 2 years. I'm over it. Where do I sign?"
yep,
So you would know that in your
yep,
industry as well. And for every seller saying, "Oh, wait," you've got another seller who's owned the property for 30 years. It doesn't really matter. They're still selling in the high end of the market, but just not the highest
yep,
peak of the market. And it's impossible to sell when the market is within an inch of its life at the top, and
mm,
it's impossible to buy when the market is at the bottom with an inch of its life. No one can really pick it, because real estate is very circumstance based. So you have a larger family, you need a bigger house.
yep,
You want to invest money somewhere else, so you cash in an investment. You want to change school areas, so you change location or
mm.
suburbs.
There's
You're
other
moving into
motivators.
state, yeah, moving into state for work. So that's what I find we focus on, and we control the controllables, which
Yep,
is really how to present a property, how to market a property, and how to price it. The rest of the stuff we can't control. There's been other global factors as
mm,
well this year,
yep,
whether it's the issues in Europe, whether it's geopolitical issues,
mm,
supply issues, but we can't really control any of that. So we just focus on marketing property well, selling property well, presenting them well, and pricing them well, and there'll always be a buyer.
yeah. I love the way you explain it. You really make it understandable for
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Appreciate it.
Um, we saw a lot of frustration with
Mm.
buyers in 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
missing out on property, lining up with another 100 buyers. Now that's come back a bit. So we are
Yes.
seeing these people able to enter the market, which is a good thing.
Yes.
For 2023, what would you say is maybe the first 6 months? What would you see? Do you see more vendors wanting to come to the market? Is there
Yeah.
is there more stock coming on? We know that there's a bit of a shortage of stock at the
Sure.
moment.
Sure.
Is
Yeah.
Are they still holding off? What are you seeing?
Look, what I tend to find, Alex, is, put all market and economic factors aside, I tend to find that that period between sort of mid-January and Easter is always a very upbeat and positive environment for real estate, because
Yep,
there's been a force break.
yep,
People are coming back. They've made lifestyle decisions over the Christmas period, and there's some energy in the market. The weather's nice. So I find, regardless of what's happening in the market, that first quarter, if you like, of the calendar year has always got an upbeat energy, and there's a good amount of buyers, a good amount of sellers, and auction clearance rates tend to be high. Now, in saying that, 2023, what my thought process is that, sure, interest rates have gone up, but what I now see is a lot of buyers thinking, well, thank God there's a bit of value in the market now. And then you've got those buyers, say, that have got the option now with that stamp duty under 1.5. I think that's very, very encouraging for some parts of the eastern suburbs, and certainly some sections of the eastern suburbs in terms of type of property. But if you look out west, for example, that's a huge injection of courage and confidence into the market.
Big savings.
Yeah, massive. So I think that's a positive sign. So I think you're going to see buyers who recognise value. I think you're going to see some owners who have just finally realised that things have stabilised, and if my motivation and my circumstances dictate that it's now time to sell, they're going to be less focused about picking the market, and they're just going to move on with life because life still goes on. You can't be dictated by market conditions. Sometimes you just need a bigger house, you need a smaller house, you need to buy an investment for tax purposes, you need to cash in an investment to renovate your house or invest elsewhere. So there's always circumstance there. So I think you're going to start to see people coming onto the market and buyers seeing value. That first home market will obviously be boosted, there's no doubt about it, because you can still buy a lot of real estate in the east for up to 1.5, apartments, especially townhouses in some cases, especially the southern parts of the eastern suburbs, that southeast pocket. And I do genuinely believe that things will start to settle down and a new normal will commence. And the new normal will be, sure, higher interest rate environment, but hopefully, the Reserve Bank achieve what they've set out to achieve, which is really bringing inflation under control, and has got out of hand, and that's been by a lot of issues globally. It's not just an Australian issue. Inflation is a global issue, as we know. So I genuinely have started to sense that that's already starting, because a lot of people are looking at cutting discretionary spending, and I think that's a good thing. You're seeing that. So I think that they're doing their job. It's a responsible job. There's no doubt that the monetary policy could have been better handled, in my opinion. I mean, even the governor sort of semi-apologised for it himself, because
lifting rates earlier.
I mean, it wasn't really a promise to the market, but there was a pretty strong suggestion that we won't need to look at it until 2024. So everyone thought they had a bit more time. So look, that is what it is. We can't change it. We can't change that. It's happened. But I feel that there could have been handled a little bit better. But there was a lot of things out of our control. Like, obviously the US get monthly inflation figures. We get quarterly inflation figures. So sometimes they're chasing their tail a little bit here with the Reserve Bank. But look, they've got a job to do. We've got to get that inflation around 3%. It's a lot more than that now. I think the process has already started, and I think a new norm will commence. But the eastern suburbs and anything, in fact, around 10 kilometres of the CBD, I think will always perform well, whether it's because of the beaches, the schools, access into the city, whatever it might be.
We might start seeing more people come back to the country as well next year. That's more people needing homes, shelter, rent.
Correct.
We're gonna see a bit of an increase in that.
Yes.
Hopefully, and really, really good summary. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Guys, if you want to talk anything real estate, obviously Adrian's available and his details will be below. And anything to do with finance, we're always here to help. Have a safe and happy holiday season, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks
for having me. Thanks, Alex.
Pleasure.
Okay.